Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. It's Monday. So we are going to start here, Chapter 7, Crossing Your Red Sea of The Secret Door to Success by Florence, Shinn. Before I do I want to tell you guys, so every day around 3 o'clock-ish, I go for a nature walk with my daughter in the woods out here. And so it was when you start doing this whole spiritual journey, a lot of things, you start noticing a lot of things you haven't noticed before. For me, I noticed nature, like how cool it was, how beautiful it was out there, and how amazing it was. I actually picked up 2 stones with moss, and my daughter picked up a stick, and I have a little altar behind me, and we added it to my altar, and it looks really cool. This is what it looks like. So it's a good grounding thing to do, is go for a walk in nature, and you'll start realizing how beautiful Mother Nature actually is. For me, I'm very drawn to nature. Like, I'm drawn to nature-based religions like Wicca because I'm an earth sign. I'm a Capricorn. So we will go ahead and start Chapter 7, Crossing Your Red Sea. You know, I was laughing through this because this connects very deeply with my twin flame. And I mean, God is talking to me today severely. Like, my son, he's 17, and he's kind of like my backup angel here on earth, because I was talking to him about my tarot readings, and I told him the tarot reading I did earlier today was about my twin flame. He was like, "Don't you see?" He was like, "That was about you." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You're talking about breaking free of family, breaking free of tradition, right? Afraid of disappointing them, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, you know, your daughter's dad and his mom are your family. You guys are legally family now. And you're having trouble moving ahead because you're afraid of disappointing them. He said, he's like, you're not breaking away from tradition. Okay? You keep saying you're going to break out of this cell and go your own way, but you don't do it. And I started thinking, all of the tarot readings I've done have been for me. Has been God and the angels talking to me saying, "Look, this is what you're doing. You don't recognize it." And my son was like, God is going to forever be throwing these things at you, these tarot readings, these chapters, because you're not listening. He's like, and when you don't listen to your own tarot readings and the chapters, he sends me to tell you what it is. And I'm like, oh, you know. It reminds me of that part in Mean Girls, when that blonde girl, I forget what her name was, who was really dumb, and she was just like,
I can't get
oh, like that. That was me at the moment. So anyway, I thought it was pretty cool. So I wanted to share that with you guys. So we'll go ahead and start Chapter 7. I'll stop blabbering. So Chapter 7 is Crossing Your Red Sea. And it starts off with a quote from Exodus chapter 14, verse 15. "Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward." Okay, this has to do with the story of Moses and the Red Sea. So if you remember in the last chapter, Moses went to the Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go." And Pharaoh was like, "Nope. In fact, because you asked me, I'm just going to make things harder for them. I'm going to take their straw, and they have to complete their quota no matter what, otherwise they get injured." So eventually, Pharaoh just let the people go because I believe that's when Moses brought the plagues on Egypt, and then finally like the Pharaoh's like, fine, they can go. And so they are walking through the wilderness, towards the promised land. And they're being pursued by the Egyptians, okay? Because Pharaoh said, let them go. And then after he was like, no, go after them, get them back, because Pharaoh wanted to punish them more. But so the children of Israel are walking through the wilderness, but they didn't have the kind of faith that Moses had in God, okay? Because they didn't trust God, okay? Moses said to trust God, and they were like, no, this sounds ridiculous. I'm not going to trust it. So the children of Israel spoke to Moses saying, didn't we say to leave us alone to serve Pharaoh? It would have been so much better for us to be safe there than to die out here. And that made me think of my twin flame. And I'm saying to, my intuition, to my angels, and to God, leave me alone to serve, okay? Staying in this situation is serving Pharaoh. Leave me here to serve Pharaoh. It would have been better for me to be safe here, knowing I have a roof over my head and a bed to sleep in and food to eat, than to die out there, not knowing, fear of the unknown. Okay? That's what I was saying to myself, basically. I'm safe here. I'm good here. At least I know for a fact I have a place to live and a bed to sleep in. If I leave here, I don't know that for sure. And that is not putting the true love and faith in my twin flame. So I have more work to do. So Moses said not to fear, to stand still and feel the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today, because you will never see those Egyptians again. Which he's talking about the pursuing Egyptians. The Lord shall fight for you, and you shall hold your place. The Lord shall fight for you. God does fight for you. Okay? God wants only what's best for you. God wants to give you your divine reality. He wants to. But and this is when the tower moment comes in, breaks you down. Okay? So that he can build you up into someone who says, God, I trust you implicitly. So they actually preferred being slaves to their old doubts and fears than take the grand swing into faith, which is my twin flame, to pass through the wilderness into the promised land. Okay? The old doubts and fears encamp around you. They camp out around you. But there is always someone to tell you to go forward, and that is God. That is your intuition telling you, go forward. It's time. You're ready. There is always a Moses on your pathway. Sometimes it's a friend. Sometimes it's an intuition. Apparently my Moses is my son, my 17-year-old son. Okay? That telling me, look, this is what you're not seeing. Okay? God spoke to Moses, telling him to part the Red Sea. So Moses stretched out his arms, and an easterly wind caused the sea to part and expose dry land. The children of Israel walked through walls of water on their left and right side. So Moses did. He did exactly what God told him to do, what his intuition told him to do. And the seas parted. Okay. So here the Bible is talking about the individual, your wilderness, and your Red Sea, which is faith, perfect faith, and your promised land, which is your 4D reality, your divine reality. Everyone has a promised land, but we have been enslaved by the Egyptians, okay, which is negative thinking. So we're enslaved by that negative thinking that our divine reality seems too far away to be true. You feel that trusting God is a very risky endeavor. Which is true, trusting God, putting faith in something outside of you, something bigger than you, is extremely scary, because you don't have that tangible change. Okay, everything's happening behind the scenes, and you have to have perfect faith that it's happening behind the scenes. Okay, remember what I talked about undermining God? You don't want to undermine God. He doesn't like that. The wilderness might prove worse than the Egyptians. And how do you even know your promised land exists? That goes back to perfect faith. The wilderness, faith, intuition might prove worse than the Egyptians' negative thinking. You may have negative thinking like I do. Apparently, I still have negative thinking I need to work on. Okay? You may still have negative thinking, but at least it's tangible. At least you're in your each. Oh, is that a grease spot? No. Darn it. I gotta figure out how to get this off. This is my favorite sweatshirt. Anyway, shiny ball syndrome, remember? So, now I lost my place. Okay, this is my negative thinking. But I'm like, I'd rather stay in this negative thinking because it's tangible. I have my bed. I have my workspace. I have food. It's tangible. Okay? So, and thinking of going out there, into the unknown is actually worse. I am free out there in the unknown, but I'm also afraid because I don't know what's going to happen. And how do I know my perfect divine reality even exists? For me, I am at the point where I know it exists. I've done so much spiritual work that I know it exists. I know it's happening. And one of my thing, I don't poo-poo the small blessings. That mandala pillow I told you about, I got it about 6 weeks ago. I got it 3 or 4 weeks. I got it about 4 weeks or so before I even thought about doing Kundalini yoga. And it turns out that's what I need to do the yoga. Yet I received it a month before. That's how I know. God prepares you for your divine reality, and that's why you must listen. The reasoning mind will always back up the Egyptians, but sooner or later, something says go forward. So the reasoning mind will always back up your negative core beliefs. Okay? Your consciousness will always back up your negative core beliefs. But sooner or later, something says go forward. It's usually circumstances. You are driven to it. So because of my circumstances, I'm driven to go forward because this does not serve me. In my divine reality, this does not serve me. I am better than this. There is an expression that says as meek as Moses. Okay? And that's because Moses was meek to the commands of the Lord, yet became the strongest of men. Matthew 5:5, and the meek shall inherit the earth. From the Bible. He was willing to give up, surrender control, and give it to God. Okay? Give it to God in perfect faith. And if you look, Matthew 5:5, 5 is a strong angel number. It stands for major life changes from slavery to freedom. Okay? If you think about it in the context of this chapter, personal growth, becoming faithful, encapsulating that perfect faith. Transformation, again, going from non-believer to believer in faith, and new beginnings. Where? In your promised land, your 4D divine reality. Moses had faith to part the Red Sea. He had perfect faith that the children of Israel would not drown. When he came to that Red Sea and God said, just go like this and the Red Seas will part, he could have been like, yeah, right. Like that will ever happen. But no, he was like, yes, God. And he did it. And guess what? God brought a strong easterly wind that parted the sea. He had faith enough to say, not question it, Not for a second. Faith the size of a mustard seed, remember? He had perfect faith that God was gonna part that Red Sea for him. This could happen to you today, actually. Think of your problem. You've been living under Pharaoh or negative thinking for too long. Okay? Say to yourself, go forward. The Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong easterly wind. The Lord caused the sea to go back. In the story, the Lord caused the sea to go back and cover the Egyptians, that negative thinking. Okay? What is that? That is pure faith in the Lord, that God is going to lead you to your promised land. Or that your Moses is going to lead you to your promised land.
I just ate all the pizza.
Good job. So like an example, let's say you have a financial problem. Who doesn't, right? Anyway, my supply comes from God, and big, happy financial circumstances come to me under grace and perfect ways. So God works in mysterious ways. Okay? It's all down to expect the unexpected. Prepare, ask for what it is that you want, and then be prepared to receive it. So Moses had perfect faith. Okay? He had perfect faith that God was his end game here was to lead the children of Israel to the promised land. That was his end game. And that's where he was looking. And so God provided a way. Even they got to the Red Sea and they were like, this is impossible. But Moses had enough faith in him, enough perfect faith in him to say, God is going to provide a way. Remember that saying, God always provides a way. So now that you have made your statement, you've caused that east wind to blow. You've stood at the big shore of the Red Sea, said your statement, and God brings in that easterly wind to part the Red Sea and allow you through. God makes a way where no way is visually possible for you. Okay? And that comes with perfect faith, knowing that God is going to make a way. You know what? I should really watch my own videos because I'm saying all this stuff, yet I am not living it. I realize that. So I actually write down all of the lessons that I need to learn from my own videos. Yeah. It be like that sometimes, right? So walk up to your Red Sea of lack and limitation and show your fearlessness. Show your perfect faith. Focus on the end game here. What is it? Your divine reality. Don't worry about, oh my God, I'm at this impasse. How is this gonna, don't think about how is this gonna resolve itself. Ask God to resolve it. A lot of the times it'll be your intuition saying, how about this? Or do this? Or speak to this person. That is your easterly wind. Your intuition is that easterly wind that comes in and parts the Red Sea. Because your intuition is saying, this is how to get out of this situation. This is how to get around this obstacle. Okay? So that was chapter 7 of Crossing the Red Sea. Next chapter is going to be chapter 8, The Watchman at the Gate. I am going to... So tomorrow, my 2 videos are going to be posted later in the day because I have my doctor's appointment with my twin flame at... I have to be there at 1:45. But usually I'm there for like an hour or 2. And then I'm coming home. And then Wednesday, my daughter's father and I are taking her to a play area, probably Mommy Land. So those 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to be posting a lot later because I'll be out during the day. But I hope you enjoyed this chapter. I really enjoyed it. I love doing this because I learn a whole lot. Not only am I learning a lot, but I love teaching it to you guys. I love doing it. So thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please put a like down below. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And, I had a comment that says, Caroline, you need to get a microphone. I know I do, but I don't have the funds to get it right now. Like I said in my tarot reading, I want this to be an amazing channel for you guys because you deserve it. Okay? But, I don't have the funds yet to do it. When I do, absolutely, every dollar I get goes to this channel, improving this channel for you guys. Okay? I have all of my information down in the description. I have, if you would like a personal reading, astrology or numerology chart, my email and messenger are down below. If you would like to donate or support my channel, that information is down below. I hope that you guys have a wonderful week. Make it your best. Remember to spread love, joy, gratitude, and happiness everywhere you go. And I will see you in the next video.